So in the past couple of hours, there's been yet another school shooting. So this one happened at North Park Elementary School in San Bernardino, California. The media's been reporting that two people were killed, and it's believed that the shooting was a murder-suicide. So the shooter killed himself and also a teacher. And so also two students were critically wounded and are currently in the hospital. No one's been identified yet, and there isn't a whole lot of information yet on this case, but here's what the Associated Press has said. So they said, police do not believe the children were targeted, but were close to the female teacher at North Park School when the suspect came to the classroom and to visit and then opened fire with a handgun, police Captain Ron Mass said at the news conference. So they say there was no indication that the gun was visible upon his arrival at the school, and the students were taken to a hospital after what was believed to be a domestic dispute. San Bernardino City Unified School District spokeswoman Marie Garcia told the news station, and police would not confirm the adults' relationship or if it was a domestic dispute. We believe that the teacher knew who the shooter was, Garcia said, adding that all the other students were safe. The police do not believe that the students were targeted, and so this makes this case pretty unique because most of the school shootings we hear about, the kids are always the specific target in these shootings, but in this particular case, the shooter seems to have been specifically targeting this teacher that he killed. So earlier they said that the shooter committed this crime with a handgun. So this is an important fact because, and it makes the case unique because most of the school shootings and other shootings we hear about from like Aurora, Colorado, the movie theater shooting, and Sandy Hook, and even just in the same city, San Bernardino, in 2015, there were 14 people killed in a mass shooting. In all of those cases, the shooter was using a semi-automatic or fully automatic assault weapon, and they were able to kill at least a dozen or so people. And in most of those cases, the shooter obtained the gun illegally, but for this case, there isn't any information yet on how the shooter got this gun, but it seems to be likely that he obtained the gun legally since it was just a small handgun that he used. So fortunately, the shooter only had this handgun because if he had a higher caliber weapon like an assault weapon, he could have definitely killed a lot more people, but it doesn't seem like his objective was really to kill as many people as possible like most other shootings would be. It seems that like his objective for this case was just to go after this one particular teacher that he didn't like. And so the Associated Press also says that the students were gathered on a field in a blacktop basketball court inside the fenced-in grounds on the campus near a line of school buses. The school has about 600 students in kindergarten through 6th grade. Frantic parents were running up a sidewalk looking for information about their children and were not able to learn immediately what had happened. Several parents interviewed on TV said their children were too young to carry mobile phones, so they had not been able to contact them to see if they were safe. And so there hasn't been a response yet from President Trump, but he'll likely say something small about it, like some generic statement that most presidents would say. That he's probably just going to say something like, we offer our thoughts and prayers to the victims. This case is probably going to get very looked over because the main news story right now is regarding Trump, is the whole Syria thing that's going on right now. And so it's very unlikely that Trump or Congress is going to do anything about this. And especially since Trump campaigned a pro-gun position and had a quick endorsement from the NRA, which makes it less likely that he's going to do anything about this, especially since the shooting was done with a handgun and not an assault weapon, which are more controversial. And so there's really little you can do about these situations. If the shooter's motivated to kill someone, he doesn't care about the punishment, then they're usually going to do it, especially if they're willing to kill themselves in the end, like this guy did. And I mean, I guess you could search everybody that comes into the school. So this guy just came in as a visitor. I guess you could search everyone that comes in, and that may be able to prevent a situation like this where the shooter just had his handgun concealed. And so obviously this is a horrible thing to happen, and these shootings tend to happen far too often, and hopefully we get more information about this as the investigation goes on.